तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यं। Welcome everybody. So Bhagavad Gita, we'll start with 16th shloka. 16 to 18 are combined. So we'll recite this, and as our usual tradition, I'll read one line and please everybody can repeat after me. Ananta Vijayam Raja
अनन्तं राजा
Kunti Putro Yudhishthira
कुन्तिपुत्रो
Nakula Sahadevascha
Nakula Sahadevascha
Saghosha Mani Pushpakau
Sugosha Nipushko
Kashyascha Parameshvasa
Ashesha Paramesh
परमेश्वर
Shikhandi cha Maharatha
Shikandi Maharata
Drushtadumno Viratascha
Drishtatum no Viratascha
Satyakischa Parajita
Satyaki Sharapa Vichita
Drupado Dropadeyascha
Drupado Trapade
Sarvashah Prithvipate
Sarvash Prithvi
Saubhadrascha Mahabahu
सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु
Shankhan Dadmau Prathak Prathak Shankhan Dadmau Prathak Prathak. Okay, so we'll read the translation. Any volunteers who would like to read? Who's able to?
I can read.
Yeah, please go ahead, Minik.
Also, really quick, when you're when we're repeating the sloka, like, should we have our our volume on?
Yeah,
Okay.
unmuted. Yes, whoever
Okay.
can unmute can unmute their mics.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure. Okay. Hare Krishna. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Yugosha and Manipushpaka, the great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter, Shikandi, Drishtadumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others. O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for reading. A lot of names there.
Yeah.
So here we have discussed how in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, first of all, Dhritarashtra asked the question because he was curious what's going on in the battle. So he asked, what did Pandavas and my sons do after being gathered in Kurukshetra? And in response to Dhritarashtra, Sanjay, who was able to get the live telecast actually of whatever is happening at Kurukshetra, he speaks and he narrates what he's seeing. And he sees how Duryodhan is going to his teacher, his guru, Dronacharya, and starts talking to Dronacharya about Pandava's army, how they are so powerful, big army with a lot of warriors like Bhima and Arjun, and similar powerful warriors other than Bhima and Arjun. But he was also wanting to encourage his whole army, his warriors, including Dronacharya. So he said, but in our army also we have very powerful people. And he narrates about his army. And then Bhishma, he blows the shank, to which basically is like, onset, the starting of the battle is about to start now. So the conch shell or the shank is blown, and after Bhishma, others Arjun, and Krishna and Arjun are blowing, and then all the other Pandavas are blowing. So who all? Here it is mentioned. Yudhishthir, he's blowing his conch shell, and each conch shell has the name. So Yudhishthir's conch shell, the name is Ananta Vijaya. Nakul's is Sughosh, and Sahdev, his conch shell or shank, the name is Mani Pushpak. What was the name of Krishna's conch shell? Anybody remember from last week? Yes, Panchajanya. Correct. And what about Arjun?
Devadatta.
Devadatta, yes. So we'll read the purport. Menaka, would you be able to continue with the purport, please?
Yeah. Sanjaya informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle. Beginning with a grandsire Bhishma, down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world, all were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So here, all this is in response to what Dhritarashtra's question was. His question was, what happened? Sanjay is narrating, and the way he's narrating, he's actually giving clear signs that all the omens are actually, or all the signs are actually indicative that Pandavas will win, right? And here in this particular shloka, the names of these personalities, the great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drushtadumna, Virat, all these are going to play very important, significant role in the battle. So, just a brief background from Mahabharata. So this particular name here who's mentioned, great fighter Shikhandi. Shikhandi was going to play a very significant role in the battle. Anybody knows what role will Shikhandi play? What will he do, Shikhandi? Anyone? Actually, the most powerful person in the army of Kauravas is, who's the most powerful?
Bhishma.
Is Bhishma, yes. Bhishma is very, very powerful. He's the grandfather, grandsire.
Not the
And
grandfather, even more than the grandfather.
yeah, so and if you see how he is going to be defeated, Shikhandi will play a big role in that. So Mahabharata is such a profound book. It does not just talk about what is happening in this particular time period, but also talks about how some of these people, they were having a past life and what they were doing in the past life. So Shikhandi was one such person. Shikhandi in the previous life was actually a lady. The lady's name was
Ramba.
Amba.
Amba.
Yes, Amba. Amba was the lady. So these were actually three sisters, Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika. Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika, these three were princes. They were daughters of a king. And traditionally, this kingdom used to have nice relationships with the kingdom of Bhishma. And what is the kingdom of Bhishma? Hastinapur. But Bhishma was not the king, because Bhishma had taken a vow that he will never be the king and he will always serve the king humbly, like a humble servant. He'll serve the king, but he was the most powerful warrior. And who became the king? His brothers were the king, his stepbrothers. Stepbrothers born from mother Satyavati. So Satyavati had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitra Virya. Chitrangada was first the king, but in a battle with a Gandharva, Chitrangada actually died. And
The
Vichitraveer,
Gandharva's name was Chitrangada.
yeah. So Vichitraveer was the another king, but he was much younger and not so powerful, and he was actually ruling the kingdom with the help of Bhishma. So Bhishma was the elder brother and like a father figure. So he said, I have to arrange the marriage of my younger brother. And in those days, kings will have multiple wives. So he said, I have to arrange the marriage. And this kingdom, which was ruled by the father of Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, they had such nice terms that they were anticipating that those princes they will marry Vichitravirya. But then they did not marry Vichitravirya, but rather arranged a Swayamvar. Swayamvar is an occasion where the girl, where so many different kings are invited, and the girl chooses which one they have to marry, or there will be a particular task which the kings or the princes they have to, you know, basically do to prove that we are worthy of marrying these great princes. But when Bhishma heard of this, Bhishma said, hey, they want us to prove our capabilities. Like Hastinapur is the best kingdom. It's like we are the superpowers. And instead of actually strengthening relationships with us, they are arranging Swayamvar. No problem. We'll go and we will actually show how powerful we are so that there is no doubt about us. And Bhishma goes there. Bhishma basically says, this is insulting that you want us to actually participate in Swayamvar. I'm going to single handedly defeat all the kings and princesses, and I'll be the one who will actually take all these princesses for marrying to my brother. And in that way, all of the princes there, they fought with Bhishma. None of them could defeat. Bhishma easily defeated everybody. They took the princess to marry with his brother. Now, out of these three, Ambika and Ambalika, they were happy that they are getting to marry with the princess, but with the prince. But Amba, she had soft corner with for somebody else, and she relayed this to his to Bhishma's stepmother, because Bhishma was so furious and powerful and everything. The girls were really scared. They didn't actually reveal their heart to Bhishma, but to Bhishma's stepmother Satyavati they revealed. And Ambika and Ambalika were very happy, but Amba, she wasn't so satisfied. She said, I had already decided to marry another king, Shalva. So they said, okay. Bhishma said, oh, if I would have known that, I would have never had her come here. I would have arranged her to be there only and get married to whoever she wanted. But no problem, we'll make arrangements for her to go back. And the arrangements were made to go back to the other king, which he initially was intending. But this king, he said, no, I have been defeated by Bhishma. Now I cannot really agree to marry. That will be insulting. That even after losing, I'm actually, taking, this responsibility of marriage. So that won't be appropriate. Bhishma should only marry you. So Amba said, yeah, Bhishma should only marry me. So Amba went back. Amba said to Bhishma, Bhishma's mother, that, hey, Bhishma is the one who actually took us. Now Bhishma should marry. So Bhishma said, I cannot marry. I had already taken a vow that I will never marry in my life. I'll never have kids and I'll never be the king. So there is no way I can marry. So now it's a big problem. Amba went to the sages and saints and revealed. And these saints, sages, they said, okay, let's talk to Parshuram. Now, Parshuram is one of the avatars of Lord. He's very, very powerful. He is so powerful that he had single-handedly defeated all the kings in the whole of the earth. And he had defeated them more than 20 times, almost 21 times or more. He was able to. So he was very, very powerful. And he was also a guru or teacher of Bhishma. So Bhishma he knew, and Bhishma respected and loved his guru very much. So Parshuram said, okay, I will talk to Bhishma. So he summoned Bhishma, and they came and said, hey, Parshuram is here in the area, and he's wanting to see you. So Bhishma, very eager, enthusiastic, oh, I'll get to see my guru. He goes there and he pays obeisances, and he says, what is the order for me, my guru? He said, I heard about this situation, that you're not marrying Amba after all this. He said, you know that I am, complete celibate, brahmachari. I cannot do any marriage. So he said, but you brought her. So he said, I had actually announced that it will be for my brother. But she said she wants to marry somebody else. So we made all this arrangement. Bhishma said, I don't know about all that. You either marry her or you fight with me. Parshuram said that you either marry her or fight with me. Now Parshuram was very he was very, very strong. And Bhishma here, Bhishma said, my dear Guru, you know I cannot marry her, but if you order me that I have to fight with you, as an order I will fight with you. But I don't want to fight with you. Said, okay. So then both of them come in the battlefield, prepared to fight. And what was that fight? It was so ferocious. Actually, both were so powerful that this war went for several days. They'll fight the whole day, and then they'll rest at night. Then again in the morning, they'll fight the whole day, and they'll rest. Like that, the fighting was going on. Nobody was able to win. Every weapon which Parshuram was trying, Bhishma was able to counter, and whatever weapons Bhishma was trying, Parshuram was able to counter. Now finally, when it went for so many days, finally Bhishma decided he'll use a weapon which was very, very unique and very powerful. And he felt that this is something which hardly anybody will know how to break this weapon. And it was more like Pashupatastra. And it was something which even Parshuram did not know how to counter this weapon. And Bhishma was about to shoot this arrow, and at that time the heavenly voice came. They said, no, don't use this arrow. Don't use this arrow. This arrow will be insulting to your guru if you use that. Now Parshuram understood that if he would have used this arrow, then Parshuram would have been defeated. So Parshuram told, now either you kill me or you go back, because I'm not going to go back from the battle empty hand. Bhishma said, my dear Gurudev, I was only fighting because you ordered me, and now if you want me to go, I will go. And Bhishma at that time, like a humble servant, fell on the feet and left. But his guru was so happy because his guru was defeated by Bhishma. So a real guru is someone who loves that his student actually excels and goes beyond the guru. A father is very happy when the son actually knows more. The son gets more success and gets more glories. So this is how guru is. So Parshuram went to Amba. He said, see, I tried my best. I cannot help now. So Amba decided, okay, Amba really wanted to take revenge now. Amba felt, I was insulted, I will take revenge. So this is the problem with revenge. A revengeful mentality actually doesn't bring peace to us. Revenge or anger, this is like picking up hot coal. If you have seen hot coal, and thinking I'm going to use this hot coal in throwing at the other person who has insulted me, or who has done wrong to me. Now, in the process of picking up that red hot coal and thinking that I'll hit somebody, it is actually burning our own hands. So, this is what happens when we have a revengeful mentality. We are actually hurting ourselves. And in that mood, Amba was meditating and praying to Lord Shiva. So, Lord Shiva, as many of you know, is called as Ashutosh. What is the meaning of Ashutosh?
Pleased easily.
Yeah, Ashutosh. Tosh means getting satisfied or happy. So, Ashutosh is somebody who gets very easily satisfied or happy. So, Lord Shiva, very easy to please him. So, many times you'll see demons, they use this trick because Ashutosh or Lord Shiva, he gets pleased very easily. They think we can trick Lord Shiva and please him and get lot of power from him. Amba also was thinking, I'll please Lord Shiva and get to kill Bhishma. Now, previously she wanted to marry, but now she's thinking, oh, this is so insulting, and who's the cause of my insult? It's Bhishma. I must kill Bhishma. So she was so revengeful that she prayed to Lord Shiva and got the benediction to actually be the cause of the death of Bhishma. So Lord Shiva, he appeared and he said, okay, next life you will actually be the cause of Bhishma's death. So next life Shikhandi was born. Now Shikhandi was born, that's a long story how he born and what all happened, but Shikhandi was somebody whom Bhishma knew that this is Amba only. Bhishma understood. Bhishma also was very advanced and he had his power, and Shikhandi knew he remembered his previous birth, that I was Amba and I'm born to kill Bhishma. So he was not so powerful that he can defeat Bhishma, but he was used in the battle because when Shikhandi came in front of Bhishma, Bhishma saw Shikhandi as lady, as a girl, because he was Amba in the previous life. So Bhishma was still seeing her in that way, and Bhishma decided that I will never ever use any weapon against a lady. That is immoral, that is inappropriate, that is not according to the codes of Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas means respect to ladies, respect to Brahmins, respect to children, and protect them, not attack them. So Bhishma had those principles. So as soon as this battle started, Krishna told Arjun that you should go and ask, how can we actually win? Because till the time Bhishma is ready fighting like this, there is no chance of us winning. So the Pandavas, Yudhishthir, Arjun, they obeyed Krishna's words, asked Bhishma. Bhishma said, if a girl comes in front of me, then I will not fight. So for Pandavas, they didn't know what to make sense of it because they felt it's an obvious thing. What does it mean? And then they went to Krishna, and Krishna said, okay. Krishna revealed, go bring Shikhandi in front of Bhishma. And when you bring Shikhandi in front of Bhishma, Bhishma will not shoot an arrow. And in the middle of the fight, Arjun will keep shooting the arrows. And at that time, you'll be able to take Bhishma away. So this is the trick which was used, and Shikhandi played a role in that. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So that's Shikhandi. Then next one is Drishtadyumna. We already spoke about him. Drishtadyumna was the brother of
Draupadi.
Draupadi and Shikhandi.
Huh?
Drishtadyumna was the brother of Shikhandi and Draupadi. And then next is Virat. Virat was the king where we discussed about this. He was the king where all the Pandavas had stayed in the Agyatavas. Agyatavas is the time when they were they had to hide and stay. Incognito time of Pandavas. So Pandavas, they were supposed to be in the forest for 12 years, but also they were supposed to be, for 1 year, they were supposed to be in a place where nobody could spot them that they are Pandavas. And that is called as Agyatavas or incognito period. So this incognito period they spent at the kingdom of Virat. And like what we had discussed before, Virat was the name of the king, and his kingdom was also named Virat at that time. um, Virat did not know that the Pandavas are staying there because they were staying with different names. So after all of this, Virat, when he got to know that they were Pandavas who chose his kingdom to live, he was very very grateful to them, and he apologized for all the times he may have demeaned or dishonored or disrespected them, because Pandavas were world famous, but Virat was a very small kingdom. So Virat later on joined them in the fight against Duryodhana and party. Then next one was Satyaki. Satyaki was one of the uh, Yadu people who are Yadus. They are from the family or relation of Krishna. So Satyaki came from there to help the Pandavas. And Drupad is the father of Draupadi. And sons of Draupadi we had discussed. There she had 5 sons and others. So all of them they started blowing the conch shell and be ready. And in this way, Sanjay is given indication that hey, the signs are for the victory of the Pandavas. Now, when all this was being spoken, Dhritarashtra was actually hearing in the past, whenever somebody gave good advice to Dhritarashtra, like Bhishma, Drona, Krishna, Vidura, all of them were the ministers, or they were giving advice to Dhritarashtra that hey, the way from the very childhood, the way Duryodhana is behaving, he's acting, that's not good. And as a father, it was duty of Dhritarashtra to actually correct all his sons, including Duryodhan. But Dhritarashtra, he was not feeling that way. He did not give proper guidance and training to his children, and he always pampered them and let them do what they wanted to do. And even if he had to say something, he said in a very soft and mild voice. And that was not at all going to play any role, or it did not affect Duryodhan at all. And all this gave Duryodhan a very wrong upbringing. So therefore, as parents, as mentors, as guides, sometimes we have to be encouraging, we have to be supportive, but sometimes we have to actually take measures to correct the dependents, to correct the children, to actually give useful feedback, and sometimes may even have to punish them. That is also a role of a father, teacher, mentor, to do that. And Dhritarashtra did not properly apply any of that, and therefore Dhritarashtra was going to have to see the death of all his sons. In fact, Dhritarashtra, when previously these people were coming and telling him, like Krishna, Vidura, he will say, oh, if destiny has written like this, how can I change? He will blame everything on destiny. But when he was at the receiving end, when he actually saw how much his sons, are defeating in the battle and how all of them are killed, that pained him so much that he started, having negative feelings about the Pandavas. And even when Bhima first came him, he was going to kill Bhima. Just by embracing, he was so powerful that he felt he could kill. So Krishna at that time took a very powerful metal statue which was just there, and he brought that in front of Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra was able to break that statue. That much power Dhritarashtra also had, even though he was blind. Uh, but when it was the time to take decision for correcting his sons, he was actually blaming destiny. No, what can I do? What can I do? But later on, he's not saying, "Oh, whatever happened is destiny." Later on, he's having uh, negative feelings about Bhima and all of this. Of course, later on, he understood. He got pacified, and finally he was able to go with Vidura to the forest to meditate. But all of this shows that how we must learn from the life of Dhritarashtra not to do these kind of things which he did. Does it make sense? Okay. Anybody would like to share any points from here? Anything you felt striking?
I have
I
actually a quick question.
Yes.
So when you were sharing about Bhishma fighting his guru, I think it took me aback a little bit because I was thinking, well, Bhishma is doing what, I think like maybe what we're supposed to be doing in spirituality, right? It's like, okay, he's honoring his guru, he's honoring the fact that he is, um, I guess brahmachari is maybe I don't know the best word to put it. Like he's
Yeah.
honoring his commitments, meaning, right? And so the fact that the guru wanted to fight him and not respect those commitments, I think that was a little interesting to me. Um, I guess we're just trying to figure out, was there like a hierarchy of priorities in the um sorry, what was the name that they're called as warriors?
Kshatriyas.
Kshatriyas. Was there like a hierarchy of like, oh, okay, well, like you were saying, they're they're supposed to protect women, children, Brahmins. So did that I guess
Now, this is a good question.
I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry,
This is
but
good.
the person who wanted to marry Bhishma, like did that priority come
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
then his priorities to commit like his commitments? I guess just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So Bhishma, of course, in that instance, was appropriately correct. He was not, distracted or deviated from the principles or the vows he had taken. Now, seeing from the perspective of Amba, it was a little challenging because Amba was feeling so insulted that she took this route of revenge and doing all of this. Had she thought from a perspective of what is higher and what is more beneficial, she could have taken a different route, right? She could have told Bhishma initially when he was kidnapping, or he was, there to take them, not kidnapping, but take them to Hastinapur, or she could have agreed to marry that. Okay, I will marry the king over there. But she first said no, and then later on she did not understand. She was so preoccupied with what she wants rather than seeing the higher good. So that's where we can see. But that's uh, her at her level. But then Parshuram, who's the teacher, at his level, he wanted to do justice for the lady also, because he knew that it's more challenging for a lady to get a suitable match who is from a Kshatriya family, to get a suitable match. So he was thinking from her perspective, because she came to his shelter. He wanted to do his level best, but at the same time he was not prioritizing the highest goal or the higher goal. And Bhishma was, very much strictly following his vows, and he was, um, he could have given it as an excuse also, right? This is a teaching or a lesson from the life of Bhishma, that how once taken a vow, one should never ever go away from it. Bhishma could have said, "Hey, I can also enjoy like other people and have nice kingdom and nice, family, and so many queens and different other things. Now my guru has also told me to marry." He could have used as an excuse. But his life actually shows the example that even if it is tapasya or austerity, if one has taken a vow, one must carry that forward. So this is a learning lesson from his life that he could have used as an excuse, but he did not. So that's something which we can also learn and try to aspire for. So it's a learning lesson.
I agree. And I guess like I was just curious, like, didn't Amban know that he's already has these vows? Like, didn't everybody already know
He had
that
already
these
announced that, so
like
everybody
he
knew.
had everybody knew what was going into it and then still but like you already explained. So anyways, thank you so much for explaining the whole like you're doing such a great job. It really helped me to understand. I've always had a hard time with knowing everyone's stories and the names. So thank you so much for going into detail into all of them.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the nice question and thank you for being present today.
I have a comment.
Yes,
I
please.
mean, this is so interesting to listen to with uh, given the interrelationship between the individuals and the groups and lot of emotions that are being exchanged and how the relationships are shaping up. So which is so much kind of divine at the same time it falls into our real life. Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. That's all.
You're
Yes,
on mute.
thank you. Thank you. That's very true. Actually, that's why these scriptures like Mahabharata, Ramayana, when you see, especially Mahabharata, you will come across some people who are very great, but then there are some people who are, and some people are really, really, you will say, having the negative qualities or demoniac, but then lots and lots of people are in that gray area where they did some good things, but some not so good things, some mistakes. And that's very much close to us because that's the reality. In
Yeah.
our life, we do many things which may be very nice, but then we make some mistakes and sometimes we do blunders, and that's what we see so many other people doing. So Mahabharata is so relatable and we can learn so much from it because it seems like, oh, this is how people were even in those days. Ramayana, sometimes we see so many ideal and extreme things, black and white, then we feel like it's more theoretical. But then Mahabharat, we can actually relate. Even in Ramayana, you can relate many instances and stuff. But Mahabharat, especially because it's so huge, so big, and it has so many different interesting pastimes and stories that we can relate to and learn much more.
Right. And even though it is, I would say, like a scripture, but still there are things like not talking at the divine level or spiritual level, yet it is that spiritual level as well as it's boiling down to different forms of emotions and personalities. So, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
And thank you. Thank you for the explanation and the stories.
sure. Thank you. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for the comment.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll go to the next shloka. Anybody else wants to make any comments before we go forward? Okay, we'll go to 19th. Please repeat after me. Saghosho dharta rashtraanam
सघोषो जातराष्ट्र
सकोऽथो मां राष्ट्राणां
हृदयानि व्यदारयत्
हृदयान्
हृदयानि व्ययादरात्
नाभश्च पृथिवीं चैव
नाभश्च पृथिवीं चैव
तुमुलोऽभ्यनुनादयन्.
तुमुलोऽभ्यानुदायन्
Okay, who will read the translation? Any
I
volunteers?
can read,
Yes.
although I'm reading on the phone. So,
Oh, okay, you can read the translation.
okay. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Okay, thank you. So this is another situation where it is a clear sign. Sanjay is saying it shattered the hearts of Dhartarashtra Putra, which means the sons of Dhritarashtra. Dhartarashtra Nam is the word he used. So shattered the hearts. So basically, he's giving a clear indication that hey, this is actually causing so much fear in the party of Duryodhan. just to answer the question on Dhritarashtra, hey, things don't seem to be going as well for you, and all these are bad omens if you see from your perspective, because they are actually giving an indication that these will lose. But in the later part of this chapter, there will be a twist, twist in the story a little bit. Why? Because all these signs are showing victory, but then suddenly the most important warrior, the person on whom a huge part of the battle is actually dependent, Arjun, he will have some introspection and questioning whether I should even fight or not. And that will give Dhritarashtra some solace. He'll be like, oh, maybe now, Arjun will not fight. And if Arjun will not fight, then nobody else will be able to fight. And then my sons will win. So he'll think like that. But then, as Bhagavad Gita unfolds, he will hear from from Sanjay, where Sanjay concludes in the last shloka that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, where Krishna is and where Arjun is, that's where victory will be. That's where morality will be. So like that, he'll be giving that indication. So we'll read the purport. So
I can read the purport as
you
well.
can? Okay,
I can
great.
say it. Yeah.
Please.
When Visma and the others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there was no heartbreaking on the part of the Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned, but in the particular verse, it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas' party. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity.
Okay, thank you so much for reading. So here it is mentioned that how the whole arena, everybody blowing conch shell, especially the Pandavas blowing conch shell, broke the heart of Dhritarashtra's sons. And all of this is because Pandavas, when they are actually hearing the conch shells of Duryodhan and party, their heart is not getting shattered because they have complete confidence on Krishna. They have taken shelter of Krishna. So anyone who is a devotee of Krishna and a pure devotee like Pandavas or a pure devotee like Prahlad, they are fearless. Prahlad was a small boy, 5 years old, had a father who was demoniac. All the saints, sages, everybody was kind of fearful from Hiranyakashyap, but Prahlad was fearless. They attempted to kill Prahlad so many times, so many tortures they gave him. It was like extreme situation, extreme case of child abuse, right? And Prahlad was totally dependent on Krishna, totally dependent on Vishnu, and therefore Prahlad was not affected at all. And that is the quality, unique quality, which devotees of the Lord have who are pure. They are fearless. Whatever may happen, they take it as mercy of the Lord, and therefore they don't get into such situations. Okay. So there's a good way we can see how we can also stay free from fear, because fear is there with so many of us, right? It is there for so many different situations. And to actually connect with the source of everything, the actual master of everything, the protector of everyone, we actually are completely protected, and we are able to give up the fear. Okay, we'll go to 20th.
Can I add something real quick?
Please.
Okay, so something that, just to add on to the point you just talked about, fear and giving it to Krishna, it was interesting because I heard a devotee say, so the way I relate fear is like fears usually relate to some sort of like you want control. And so a devotee had said, like, once I had actually let go of feeling like I need to control everything and like gave it up to Krishna, I actually felt more relieved. And I think that that's very interesting that Yeah, so basically, if we can try to imbibe that in our real lives, even of not having to control everything and not being so, I guess, and the root cause of that is fear, and we can actually have faith and give it up to Krishna, we actually would feel less stressed in our lives. So it's just interesting how that works out.
Yeah, thank you. That was very nice. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to share any points? Any comments? Okay, we'll go to the next one. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva
तथान्वितास्थितान् दृष्ट्वा
धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृते शस्त्रसम्पाते प्रवृते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यं ऋषिकेशं तदा
वाक्यम्
idam aha mahipate idam aha
महीपते.
okay, who would like to volunteer for the translation? Anybody in a position would like to read?
I don't mind, but if anyone else wants to go,
Okay,
that's fine.
Ansh can read translation, then Menika, you can read the purport.
Sure.
At that time, Arjun, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjun then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Okay, thank you. So now all the shankhas are blown, conch shells and everything. So what happens after blowing of shankh? So in temple, when shankh is blown, then the arti starts, right? In the battlefield, because they are also fighting for dharma, at least that's how it should be. So they blow the conch shell and then they start fighting. So fighting starts with shooting of arrow, right? So Arjun is about to shoot his arrow now. It's to the point that he's picking up and shooting the arrow. So it's like an emergency situation, right? War is very like time where every second is so important. If you do something which is later than the other person, then that person's missile or arrow can hit you first and damage you, right? But if you hit that place, that source of that missile or that arrow, then you are actually on the victorious end. So time sensitivity is a lot more important in a fight. But here we see that right now we are in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We've barely done 20 shlokas. Arjun is almost about to fight, but then Arjun actually has a conversation with Krishna, and Krishna gives him 18 chapters of knowledge, which takes some time. It took a few minutes for Arjun to hear them and understand them and apply them. But Arjun did not delay this. Arjun didn't say, okay, no, right now I don't have time. We'll talk about it later. No, Arjun actually heard the Bhagavad Gita first, even though it was such an emergency situation. Similarly, in our life, we must understand that many times we actually give excuses to ourselves or to others that, Bhagavad Gita, we can read other time. I'll read it, or I'll join the conference when things are a little bit less busier, or I have a little more time. And like that, we keep procrastinating or delaying it for some unknown time in future when I'll get the chance to keep our spiritual life and give that a priority. But interestingly, that time may not necessarily even come. Why? Because the all time we have is right now. The past is already gone. The future we can plan, but it's not in our hands. The only time we have is right now. So if right now we can really see how we can engage and utilize nicely, both balancing our health, material life, spiritual life, family life, professional life, all of those things, both spiritual and material aspect of it, then we'll actually be able to get a balanced, healthy, and fulfilling life. Bhagavad Gita, as we'll read further, talks about the balance. Yuktahara viharasya. So that shloka talks about how everything has to be in balance, and that includes the spiritual life. Many times our material life is very much at the focus, and spiritual life actually is not so much at our focus, and that is why it gets delayed or we not able to focus on it. But if Arjun was able to do it even at this time sensitive moment, we can actually use spiritual life and practice it in our busy everyday schedule also. Some days maybe a little bit more, some days maybe a little bit less, but every day, some part of the day, 24 hours we have, some part must be engaged in spiritual activities. That way we can make the most of the two worlds, the spiritual and material. So here in this particular translation, it is mentioned that Arjun, he had a chariot. We had discussed the story how he got the chariot previously. Those who missed out can watch the previous videos. But here it is also mentioned that he had a flag. And who was on that flag?
Hanuman.
Yeah, Kapi Dhwaja. It was Hanumanji. And Hanumanji had previously met Bhima, and Bhima invited Hanumanji. You all may remember the story where Bhima invited Hanumanji to fight. And Hanumanji said, "No, I've already fought with Lord Ram. This time you are the ones who have to fight. Krishna will be there with you, and I will be at the chariot, at the Rath of Arjun." So, like that, he had given the indication. So, we'll read the purport. Menka, can you read the purport?
Purport: the battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Rama in the battle between Ram and Ravan, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now, both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjun had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of his senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjun in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions, arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay the signs of assured victory.
Thank you. Thank you for reading. So here it is mentioned that how Krishna was present, and wherever Krishna, who is non-different than Lord Ram, wherever he is present, the devotee Hanuman is also present. And also Mother Sita, who is Lakshmi Devi, goddess of fortune, she is also present. So if goddess of fortune is present, then how can there be any misfortune in the party of Pandavas? Therefore, all fortune comes there. So wherever Krishna is, fortune comes. And previously we had discussed that how Arjun and Duryodhan, their mentality was so different. Duryodhan was having a calculative mentality, how I can get a bigger army, more powerful army. And Arjun, he was asked by Krishna that I will be on one side and whole of my army on the other side. I will not even pick up a weapon. Would you like me, or would you like my army? Duryodhan immediately wanted to have the army. But Arjun, he said, I want you. I want you, my lord. So this is how Krishna, or the filter of Krishna, works. What is the filter of Krishna? Krishna will give us an option. Either we want Krishna where we may not feel like materially, calculation wise, we may feel like Krishna just taking maybe at a loss, but doing other things which no may not have connection with Krishna may actually give us more material benefit. So that is a filter, and more people will go towards those things which will give us material benefits but may or may not give Krishna. That's not their focus. And that way, people actually get distracted from spiritual life, or they may not necessarily even come to spiritual life. But if you use this filter that, hey, wherever is Krishna, that is place I will take, then automatically fortune will come, automatically all good will happen in that particular path. So this is a filter which tricks many of the people. They think that okay, whatever is going to give me more calculatively more benefit, I'll go there, but they miss out on taking shelter of Krishna. So if we take proper shelter of Krishna like Arjun did, automatically victory will also come there. But Arjuna's goal is not victory. Arjuna's goal is Krishna. Similarly, devotees' goal is Krishna, and other things they come on their own accord. They do not. Krishna is the priority for Duryodhan. Other things were the priority. So that is how we can see Duryodhan mentality and Arjun mentality. They are both within our heart. Which one we actually give more attention to is our choice. And if we don't take necessary steps and be like Dhritarashtra, okay, I'll let it be how it is, then it's not a good destiny. If we take the ownership and take steps like what Arjun did, then we actually own our destiny. Does it make sense? Anybody would like to make any comments? Yes, Menika. Please.
See the comment everything.
That's good.
No, I just wanted to thank you because I feel like I haven't heard, I think it was very potent, a couple of things that the way you explained about in war how it takes like every second is important, and then the fact that Arjun in this, world emergency situation, he still took time to put all of that to rest and really listen to Krishna and, and listen to the Bhagavad Gita. And so I think that for me, that's like a huge perspective change because it really puts, our day-to-day lives in perspective. Like we're not dealing with the world emergencies, at least, most of us aren't. So to, like you said, to be able to actually start with bringing God into your life, the first thing, and turning to God. And like you said, then, Krishna was there, Ram was there, Lakshmi was there, or Sita was there. And it's like, it's so true because it's like, hey, how can we actually start our days, right? With bringing God into our life, starting with that faith and being protected, and then we can go throughout our day to day. So that was potent for me. And then the second thing that you just mentioned, so I haven't heard it like the way you've shared it. That's why I'm like calling it out. So I haven't heard it like this. And then the way you mentioned about the filter, whether it's like material or Krishna, and it just like made me realize I'm like, I was like praying to Krishna at that time, like while you were saying that, I'm like, I really wish that at all times I would always choose Krishna and not choose the material. And it's such a battle normally, but I think I'm just grateful to be able to be connected to you guys as devotees, and great respect for you, Prabhu, for sharing and teaching. So thank you so much. It's like I feel more connected and closer spiritually, and this is really helpful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. We are honored to have you. So
Thank you for
one,
having me.
yeah, one nice point you mentioned that I wish I can choose Krishna all the time. So that is a very good consciousness. And we have to understand that if we be realistic to ourselves, we have to say, hey, I don't choose Krishna all the time. And there is a chance, high chance, that even in future I may not choose Krishna all the time. So what can I do? When I have this thought, at least at that time, I can offer my heart, my consciousness to Krishna and pay pray to Krishna that Krishna, please guide me and keep holding my hand. If I hold your hand, then I may leave it at some point. But if you hold my hand or my finger, you will not let me go. So we pray that Krishna, you please hold us. Just like a child, it's a small child is there, 3, 4, 5 years, and you have to cross a road, right? Then the mother will hold the hand of the child, right? Mother will not depend necessarily on the child holding, right? The mother will hold. So when the mother is not going to leave. But if the child hold, the child may, inadvertently leave and go. So similarly, our consciousness is very, very fluctuating. Sometimes we may be Krishna conscious, sometimes we may be material conscious, sometimes we may be in the middle of both. We don't know what we'll be tomorrow or next moment. But this is for sure that Krishna, if you I want to offer my heart to you. If you accept and if you hold me, please continue to guide me through the thick and thin. And I wish and pray that I always remain conscious of you, and I keep choosing you wherever such a situation arises. Please help me in making the right choice. So when we actually put it on Krishna that I don't know what is beneficial for me or not, you know better, you help me. That is what Arjuna is going to say in the second chapter, 7th shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjun will say, I am confused. I don't know what is right or wrong. You know best for me. Please guide me. I am a disciple. I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. That is a beautiful prayer which we can offer every day to the Lord. That, hey, I am trying to surrender to you. Please help me to choose the right path because you know better than me. Thank you. Thank you for the nice comment. Anybody else would like to?
Yes, if I could, thank you. If I could add to that, it was so profound and so deep and so meaningful. This whole idea that you explained, and I was thinking when you talked about not missing a single moment when it is the context of war. I'm thinking like we are in war. There is war going on. And this war in everyday life could be synonymously thought of as the marketization, like people are competing and there's always this rush of this Wall Street, like make money and whatnot. So this rush and hurdle takes us out of that moment of peace and connection with the Lord. So and that reflection tells you where is the right path. So it's so profound. So I was very moved by it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to make any comments or any points or any questions before we conclude?
I think it's just amazing. Is this your son that you that he
Yeah, the one who was reciting, yes.
yeah, that's so wonderful. He's like know all the answers and like you're doing clearly a great job as a parent. So that was just wonderful to see.
Oh, thank you. We need your prayers and blessings. Okay, so we completed till 20th. We'll do 21st next week, and I'll try to upload the